very excited to be here today. My name is Joel, as you guys know. Today we are going to be studying on budgeting. We're talking specifically about Budgeting 101. That's what the name of this series is. It's going to start today, but it's going to go over for a couple of months. There's a lot of people out there right now that are charging for these classes. We don't believe in that. We believe in giving back to the community, and we have aligned ourselves with some great sponsors like Hope and so many other that we will be talking about in the weeks to come. Stay tuned, stay connected. I'm going to give it over right now to one of my good friends. His name is Jamie Palkar. He is a regional commercial lender for Banesco USA, and he will be taking it over from now. Thank you for tuning in.
Something that we came up with is I can, I must, and I will. Very important because one of the hardest things is budgeting. So the first thing we're going to talk about today, once again, as Joel said, I am a commercial lender for Banesco USA Bank, and Elizabeth Harris will come in a little bit to talk about the second part. We're both professionals. She is a part of Hope, and she is in investment banking and an entrepreneur. So first thing, budget. Now, very simple. The word, the definition of it is a pouch or a wallet, okay? It's an estimate of your expected income based on of funds. And this also the total sum of money set aside and needed for a specific purpose. There's a lot of things within the noun. Second part is a verb. Basically, is to set aside to allow or provide a particular amount of money in your budget. To plan allotment of funds, time, and etc. To deal with specific funds in a budget. To allocate a certain amount of money for a particular purpose. Once again, your weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So now we get to the fun part. Why budget? We create a budget, but you got to stick to it. The key word. So I got a budget, and you know, then getting a little more personal. My wife handles the finance, okay? But we come together for this to make sure that we both are in agreement, to make sure that we both are on the same page, which is huge. It's very important. But I let her steer the vehicle because, you know, is a little bit better at budgeting and setting aside funds for whatever you may want to do. Okay? So just to give you a little background about myself. So now, why budget? At first, it could be overwhelming. It can be. I mean, let's be honest, and you'll hear a lot about that from me. You know, Joel always says hashtag just being honest. That's the way I roll. But it's very important because you gotta. It's probably going to be the hardest thing you have to do, and somewhere along the lines you already have been budgeting, just not sticking to it. You know, you may budget for the first, you know, at the beginning of the year. It's like, oh man, you know, everybody's working out, everybody's budgeting, everybody's okay. So how to get started? Very simple. Okay, get a notebook. That's the way, you know, we've designed it. Keep it very simple. My wife Ancilia has a small notebook about this size. You can see, well, you know, small, very small, and that's the way she budgets. Okay, but to back up a little bit, so according to a survey, Americans spend on average $87 a day on discretionary items, and the word nowadays we can use is non-essential. Okay. It can be, you know, coffee, it can be gas station, you know, you buy a snack, restaurants, for those young folks out there and older folks as well, Amazon, you know, I get an Amazon package every day at my house. I'm like, what, how did we get this? So that's a part of your non-essential, okay? So non-essential, essential, very important. Those are two key words there, okay? So, small note. Once again, if you're married, go ahead and do it with your husband. or your wife. And if you're single, perfect, you know, choose something that is gonna stand out. You know, she's got a nice bright blue notebook that wherever, you know, every 2 weeks, she's there making sure her, you'll see it. You'll see it as once, you know, we get to the next stage. So you know, once again, your notebook doesn't have to be fancy, easy to carry, pocket size. Start using it at the beginning of the month to do it. You know, with working out, you know, you do it at the beginning of the month. You start your plan of action. In the morning, what we want to do is first get a fresh page. Okay. So what do I mean by that? You're gonna basically write down everything you spend from the minute you leave your house to the minute you come back home. Okay. Why do we do that? It's very simple. You want to know what you're spending. You want to know what's non-essential and essential. Eventually, we're going to carve out the non-essential. Okay, that's your organization. That's your planning, and that's about it. So that's the stage of the notebook. And now I'm going to introduce Elizabeth Harris, so she can take over to the next part.
Good morning. Some of what I ourselves organized financially. I've been doing it for about 25 years and just love it. And again, this is the beginning, the introduction of this whole budgeting process. You want me to do those amounts, expenses into a spending category. And so some common categories that I want to share with you might include, for example, say it's the first of the month and you have paid your rent or your mortgage or whatever it is. I want you to include those as well. Those are some categories you're going to break out from your big total list for that day. And others may be utilities, groceries, dining in and out. We really want you to put everything you have spent for the day in one whole list and to break that out into categories. And those categories you're going to use daily. Then the real budget will really break it out into further categories, but we don't want to make it so complicated. So let's just do it very basic for now, because this can even be over for many people starting out, especially if you've never had a budget. And if you do budget, I think, right, you'll double check them against the grand total every day, and then for the month, they should add up. Set your whole list of expenses plus your subcategories. They should all match up in total. And then you're gonna stick this for the entire month. At the end of the month, you'll add all of that up, and there you are. You have all your expenses. We say congratulations because a lot of people won't even stick through the 30 days. So we really want you to be disciplined about this. Look at your income, necessary, your paycheck, if you're married, your business paycheck. You add that income, and now you're going to really start allocating what it is that is necessary and what it is that you want, and you want to continue doing it. But many times, this is a time where people evaluate and say, I am spending way too much on, say, Starbucks. I'm spending way too much on extra clothes that I don't need. These are the times where, including myself, I'm very disciplined about this, especially during these times where we have to get lean. And I ended up actually, calling my cell phone company, calling my cable company. There's always an opportunity to save more, because I've always said I operate leanly, but to be honest, there's always an opportunity to cut out on things. So what a lot of people do is with the notebook. However, I'm more about the computer. I like to kind of, budget myself, and I have spreadsheets because I have many, different bank accounts, and then I have my business, so I have to run everything more structured. But if a notebook works for you, by all means, do work with the notebook. Others I know have seen where they have the notebook and they kind of transfer it into the computer, and they say, I'm much more organized that way. And why? It's because also we're going to share a spreadsheet with you where basically it also depends on how often income comes into the household. So say if you get paid once a month, then you would budget to actually pay out whatever it is, but based on that once a month income, or you may get paid bi-weekly every 2 weeks, and then you can kind of split up the amounts of what you're gonna allocate for each category. And I also want to say this is a good time for you to add those categories. So if you're not saving, or if you have a goal in mind to buy a home or to buy a vehicle or buy a computer, whatever it is that you have as far as goals is concerned, this is a time to add that category in your budget, and every either paycheck or every month or however it is that you're allocating your funds, even if you put $20 aside, $5 aside, it is something that you're working towards a goal. And this is where I would say the categories, you can put all your goals in. And I know you will, if anybody wants the budget template, I know you can go back to Facebook Live and go through all of this again, but also you can reach out to the community center and we'll share that with you as far as the Excel sheet. And then the next sheet we want to share with you is some sources. But really, Money News, this source here is really nice. It's pretty basic. And pretty easy to follow. And what they share, which I just wanted to share with you because it's actually a very common, what they say, 10 expenses that destroy your budget. And that's credit card interest payments, your cable bill that I mentioned earlier, unneeded insurance, pricey gym memberships and exercise classes, which by the way, I have to share with you, I canceled mine. And there's tons and tons of virtual classes on YouTube. I mean, anywhere from CrossFit, yoga, I mean, you name it. And I've been using it every day, so just sidebar note. Costly gifts, cigarettes and e-cigarettes, your pricey cell phone plan, takeout and delivery meals, bloated financial commissions, and full price items. Just a side tip about that, anytime I'm shopping online, right before I check out, I'm always searching for whether it's printable coupons if I'm going to the store, or coupon codes, which you add, and we're always, my daughter and I, we're always getting 10, 15, 20% off. So just wanted to share with you that sidebar note. And if you have any further questions, we're here to help you. Thank you.
Well, as I mentioned, short and sweet. We're going to be coming up announcing our next event, continuing the Budgeting 101 in the next coming weeks. The community center is officially open. We will let you know when our next event is in place so you can come out and be part of it. Thank you so much for engaging with us today. Please inbox us if you'd like to get the forms that she was mentioning a moment ago at nbcommunity@gmail.com.